All right, everyone, good morning. Hello, people at home and your offices and special places. If you can hear me okay, just drop an emoji in the group chat. Let me know that you can hear everything okay. So hello, good morning. Everyone, I am Nicole Salvaggio. I'm in the English department and I am new to JJC, so I know some of you in the room, I know some of you online, but I don't know everyone. It's my second semester here. So I'm very excited to talk to you all today about something that I've been developing for literally years. I believe that the syllabus is something that sometimes gets overlooked. And when the world changed with COVID and our students started returning back to the classroom, I had to make some changes as well, and maybe some of you felt that way too. And the syllabus was really one of the main areas where I had to make some of those changes. So this session is going to be kind of interactive. So if you have a way to access your own syllabus, either if you brought it as a hard copy, if you want to pull it up on iCampus or Simple Syllabus, or join in with me when I show you parts of my syllabus, that would be great. Okay. So to go ahead and get started, frozen already. One moment. Okay, cool. So I wanted to get us started with this question here. What do you believe is the function of a course syllabus? What words kind of come to mind? What's your idea of a course syllabus? You can just kind of shout things out.
Expectations.
Expectations. Okay, cool. And what's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Expectations. Okay, cool. What else? What else do you believe is the function of a course syllabus?
I would call it a two-way contract.
Okay, so that notion of a contract. Okay, cool. People at home, yes, I see you writing in as well. Nissa, I hope I said your name correctly. Setting the course structure. Okay, good ideas. Any others?
Rules of the road.
Rules of the road, and I don't think I know you. What's your name?
Thank you. I'm going to keep it that way.
Oh, Mr. Rules of the Road. I can just call you that.
I'm Wayne in the business education department.
Nice to meet you, Wayne. Thank you for your response. All right, excellent. Any others? Structure, rules of the road, two-way contract.
I mean, I also think of it as policy and procedures.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, fair. These are all totally valid responses, and I thank you for them. And to be honest with you, prior to COVID and the world changing, 2020, that's exactly how I thought of the syllabus as well. Now, however, or at least in the past couple of years, I approach the syllabus in a way that I believe kind of is the first impression for my students. It's the opportunity to show them who I am, what they can expect from the course, yeah, policies, all that stuff, but also let them know that something like this phrase here, everyone smiles in the same language, that's kind of my ethos. That's what you can expect in the course. And this document is so much more than a document because it's the gateway to helping my students realize, yeah, you all smile in the same language. You're all coming from different places and you may be different ages, different backgrounds, different whatever. But at the end of the day, we're all the same. And I'm going to help show you that day one from that first impression for you. So I originally published an article on NISOD, their innovation abstracts related to this concept. And this phrase here is something that I wrote in the article. And I thought it was really important to share that with you all today because this is kind of where the whole post-COVID syllabus restructure idea came into play for me, right? Our students are people before they're students. Sometimes it doesn't always feel that way, especially if they're online students. We don't actually get to see them face to face, but I always try to be cognizant of that. And in a post-COVID world where our students are gradually returning to the classroom, it's become more evident than ever that these students need reassurances. Reassurances that their return to the classroom will be a worthy one, worthy of their time, worthy of their effort, and worthy of their trust. right? So this is really where kind of that syllabus sets the expectations and kind of sets me up to give them those reassurances. So then that leads me to piggyback off of another word we probably hear a lot, and that's equity. So I throw another question at you. Why does equity matter in a community college classroom? What do you think? People at home, you can answer too.
Because not all of our students come from the same place.
Great answer. Because not all of our students come from the same place, absolutely. Why else?
Well, the definition of equity means you have an asset minus a liability, so you have something of value. And you want to grow that something of value through the classroom experience, or if it's an online, and the way you're going to help them realize this growth in value is through the syllabus and, of course, the worthiness of coming to the classroom. What am I learning today? What did you leave with today? What muddy point was cleared up? This is improving the value, the equity.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I'll jump in here and look at the chat. So a few people here are saying schedule for the semester, where to go for campus resources, because students are coming from different experience, just like Amy said. Another response, because one of the goals of community colleges is to provide open access to education. Yes, 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 with 1,000 exclamation points, right? I think that's such a big part of why we're here and why we do what we do, at least in my experience. I've taught at the university level before, and it's a dramatically different atmosphere, right? Dramatically different type of student I get in my classroom, just a really dramatically different situation altogether. So this notion of equity is also how I help ground my syllabus and the development of it. Perhaps you've seen this image circulating around. It's kind of an old one, but it's a really good one because it really captures kind of the two big E's, right, other than education, equality and equity, right? So equality is that notion of treating everyone the same regardless of needs. And we kind of do that, right? You all sign up for my class, okay? You're all expected to learn ABC outcomes by the end of the semester, English 101. This is where you will go in the next 16 weeks. You all have an equal chance to pass my class, okay? Whereas we all know our students are different, right? They come in with different needs, different abilities, different disabilities, different backgrounds, different cultural experiences. And this is really where equity then plays the biggest part in all of this. Yes, you're all going to have the same standards. I'm going to grade you all the same way. You're all going to get the same rubrics. Everything's going to be the same from an equal standpoint, right? But from an equity standpoint, I need to be able to pivot. I need to be able to adapt. I need to be able to do what I have to do to help you from A to Z, right? Day one to day whatever, come finals week, right? So the syllabus is really my golden ticket into how I do that from day one, and then refer back to it many, many times throughout the semester for the students where I need to give them equitable opportunities. So as I mentioned, I was published in NISOD on this. It was probably 3 years in the making to kind of put all this together. And I eventually came up with 5 kind of key strategies to create an equity-minded syllabus, okay? The first is that first impressions are everything. Second, don't underestimate a welcome message. Third, clarity is key. Fourth, it takes a village. And fifth, representation matters. And I'm going to go into a little bit of each of these today and also ask you to kind of look at your own syllabi and see where you are applying these things and maybe where you can add some of these things to help your own syllabi. Because you might realize that you're doing a lot of this stuff, but there may be things where you're like, oh, I totally didn't even think to do this, and this can totally help XYZ student, whether that's this semester, you make a pivot, or next semester as you develop. So here we go. First impressions are everything. take a moment, look up at the screen. People at home, keep looking at your screen, and tell me, what are your first impressions of what you see right here? First impressions, don't overthink it.
Welcoming.
Welcoming, okay? What else? Color, yes. Organized, okay? Welcoming, color, organized.
There's flexibility with the office hours,
Flexibility,
and there's an their evening,
okay?
and virtual versus in person. So
Yeah. Good. People at home are sending smiley faces, so I'm going to take that as a good answer. Yes to all of the above. So obviously right up here is a sample of my own syllabus, okay? The very top of the first page. The very first thing my students see when they pull up my syllabus, okay? What message do I want to convey to them as their first impression? Well, I want to show them that quote. Everyone smiles in the same language. I want them to know right off the bat, it's going to be inclusive, it's going to be a safe space, wherever you're coming from, we're equal in my classroom, and I will take you where you need to get to passing the class. I also want to tell them up front how accessible I am. Here's my email, here's my office number, here is my phone number, here's my office hours. Not only am I here in person, I'm there for you virtually, not only during the day, but also at night, okay? This is that first impression that they now see. I'm approachable, I'm accessible, I'm here for you, and this is going to be a good time this semester. Jumping down to a little lower on the first page, I couldn't fit the whole first page on one slide, so I chopped it up a little bit. So take a few moments now to look at a little lower on the first page. What are your first impressions as you keep reading the first page, first impression that I give to my students?
You put appointment necessary.
1000%. Yeah. This is my first opportunity to tell them, I'm here for you. Stop by, come in anytime. Take the rigor out of it. You don't need an appointment. My office door is always open during the times that you look at above. Right? Good. What else? What other impressions are you getting out of this?
So if I were a student, I'm like,
Yeah, right? And that's exactly the impression I want to give to the students, right? I'm always willing, I'm always happy, I'm here for you, and especially for online students who don't get the full experience of this right here, right? I need to show them that enthusiasm in the thing that they're expected to read on the very first page that they are reading, right? Over in the group chat here, it shows that I'm here to assist them. Good. What else? What else is standing out to you as a first impression?
say communication is a two-way street.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of our students just think we're going to communicate everything to them, but we expect them to talk to us too.
Absolutely. So every time I go into a semester, I just go in thinking X amount of students, you're going to be first gen. X amount of students, you're going to be entering college for the first time ever, right? X amount of students, you're a non-traditional student. I go in assuming these students just are not going to be at maybe a different level as some of their peers. So I want to be able to reach them right away, right? Again, that notion of equitable, okay? So yes, sometimes you need to show your expectations, and I found that it really helps to say little things like, you know, don't use a late response from me because of a late response from you, right? Late question from you, because I'm not up at, 1 in the morning waiting on my phone to email you back, right? So just know that here's my expectations laid out for you, and then they respect that. They know up front, okay, here's what I can expect from this professor, and 99% of the time they do it. So it helps, okay? But yeah, you guys are all picking up on exactly the things that you should be, because I worked to try and make those things available for the students. So now I ask you to pull out or pull up your own syllabi, please. And at this point, try to swap with someone near you. Or if you're not able to access yours, maybe buddy up and kind of look at it together. People at home, you can kind of do this individually unless you're having a party in your office with multiple people.
Right.
So as you're doing that, take a look and see what first impressions are you making with your own syllabus. Question, Heather.
No, that's okay. I'm gonna talk with Amy first, and then maybe we can talk. I'm gonna see what she thinks.
Okay. All right. I'm ready for a question though.
Okay.
Is it okay if I use my pre-simple syllabus?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my examples were the pre-simple syllabus syllabi. And I'm going to talk about simple syllabus too. So, yeah. Yeah. I put that picture. My picture's up there too.
Do you have time to look at mine?
Yeah.
This was one of my.
That's right.
Versus
Yes, that's right. Like, yeah, you know this, if you make it this far.
Yeah. No.
And then I know it's right.
This is two.
Right.
Okay.
You know, how, effective is that really?
Yeah, so you're jumping all into
Look at, here it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, so. See, and yours starts out different, so there's.
Do you ever
I guess this is actually up here. I thought this was the template.
Related classes.
But I think so.
This is mine.
Whatever, this is my syllabus, right? You're like, I don't know who put this together.
Yeah.
But I can reorder. So I could.
I like it.
go that way.
example, she went straight to move.
Well, how did you get here? Oh, then I was, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, because when I was in editing, it was reordering, so I could even add like. Yeah, welcome to the beginning, because I know
I think it's awesome. I would maybe just extend, like, if I put myself in a position and I did not know how to, like, not taking your class, not knowing anything about you, right? And I saw all those, like, images, I'd be like, why? Right? You know, so maybe you find a way to, like, connect that.
The why is.
Actually,
Yes.
that's a good point, because mine is, well, my.
Or at least, like,
Right.
it's interesting. Yeah. But where's your, like, content
in my development one?
They're always asking.
So we have credit content hours, mode of delivery, method of instruction, required.
Okay,
tasks.
I definitely saw it.
But I can change that. See, here's my welcome.
Yeah.
So
So maybe that's something to think about, because it's like,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, my students,
Yeah.
and you put it here, boom, and then figure out how to reach you.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what.
At least that's what's working, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just usually,
Yeah.
so.
Versus my,
It's just
human resource management on my.
so. Did I what? Well, no, my question was, how much control we really have, particularly, there we go, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Cause we're like, well, my welcome is very.
I don't know if
No,
you know,
yeah,
yeah, I
it's
moved
very-
straight to that. So I don't know if
See?
you know, I couldn't do it on there, otherwise online people.
But I would prefer it up here, and it is in
I do.
the
You're
manual.
gonna see like my picture and everything, so.
SELVU.
You couldn't pull it up here?
No,
No, because they would lose the power.
First off with a jerk and then he got out.
I don't know. Oh, the online people.
Yeah.
Well, what the heck?
No, it's not even
I
one.
guess my point was, if we were to all that policy stuff that we're required to happen, I don't know what the first impression is. Here's a book. Yep. Read this book.
Right.
And remember it for, the rest of our life. I just think that just really.
There you go.
Yes, there you go. So just pick anyone.
Do you
They're
have
all set. Do you feel like they use it?
Yeah, so you do all the welcome.
So instructor information, welcome.
Okay, so your picture's
So,
there.
and then you put the course.
Yeah.
I was saying, like,
So,
if they make it smart, they know what course they're in.
Yeah,
They know
exactly.
it's so I
They
can
don't,
show
they
you
don't need all
what I
that
said
stuff.
before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
I'm going to that next.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes in one or two cases in which I have dealt with an individual with a learning disability. Send me a text at 1 in the morning,
That's why
and that wakes everyone in the house up, including the.
All right, everybody. So I'm going to keep things moving. Sounds like we had some good discussions. I've been kind of walking around, and I heard a lot of you say, well, the things that my syllabus is showing up front is a lot of policy stuff, a lot of, objectives, book information, that kind of stuff. Many of you pulled up Simple Syllabus, and Amy, Heather, and I, we were just kind of playing around with it in the back. Simple Syllabus, you can move things around in there. So what I do is I put like my own picture in there. I put all the stuff you saw previously. I put what I'm about to show you next. I put that image of everyone smiles in the same language. I have all that stuff up front, and I move the policy stuff down just a little bit. The students will see it eventually, but that's not necessarily the first impression I want to make at them. It's in there. It's part of it, right? But I want them to know the other stuff first. So you can play with those things on Simple Syllabus. Here's the next thing. So if I were to scroll down and show you my syllabus, you would see a welcome message, okay? So if you'd like, take a moment to read over my welcome message. All of my classes pretty much give the same similar derivative of this. Give or take a few adjustments depending on 101, 102, or if it's a lit class. But from my welcome message, if you were a student, what would you be kind of obtaining from this?
I'm expected to grow.
Not better, girl, but that is an expectation, yeah.
I think if I was a student on this, my first impression would be, my professor likes to write. Maybe that's good because it's.
Fake it till you make it,
Well, I'm just trying to get myself in the mindset of a student.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But you care.
I care.
Because you're putting them, their growth as front and center.
Yeah.
Even if I only make it through the first couple sentences. I get that.
Yes, maybe by the end of the semester you'll read the whole paragraph. Yes. But yeah, exactly. All of that combined, right? That notion of, hey, I took the time to write this out for you to show you kind of what I want you to get from the course, my ethos, a little bit about me, how I'm going to approach the class. It's not just going to be grammar. Sorry, Teresa, no chomp chomp, right? That notion of your writing is powerful, right? Buy into this with me. Be on the journey with me, and we'll be able to be successful together, right? People at home, yeah, that I have an instructor that not only cares, but will assist with me and enhance my writing skills. Shows positivity, yeah, absolutely. All of that is what I'm trying to get across in my own welcome message. Good. So, do you even have a welcome message in your syllabi? If you do, what are you conveying to your students? What's in your welcome message? What would you change about your welcome message? Is it more of a welcome message or is it more of a warning message? Right? There's a difference. Okay? If you don't have a welcome message, how would you perhaps play with trying to integrate one? So you want to take a quick look at your own syllabi now as well. Maybe brainstorm ideas, or if anyone has a welcome message in their syllabi that they want to share with someone sitting by them, or share out loud with us, then that's cool too. You have Teresa, you have one? You don't?
I do have, like, meet the professor
Okay.
in my iCampus class. You know, on iCampus, I have a module 0, right? With all that kind of stuff. But on the syllabus and stuff, I do not.
Okay.
I'm probably more of a warning.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Warning.
That's fair. And I mentioned that this stuff is things I developed post-COVID, right? So yeah, pre-COVID, I did the warning message, right? If you don't answer the emails, then you're held accountable, or, you know, everything on the syllabus is what's going to happen in class, and policy forward and all that stuff. And I just felt like the approach needed to change because the world changed, right? So that's kind of where things like a welcome message came in to play.
One of the things that has occurred, especially during COVID and post-COVID, was Teresa here was extraordinarily influential in how I helped craft my online corporate finance class. It needed to go for review because, you know, periodically we do that. And looking at it from a technician point, what I was doing, I thought I was on track, but she was looking, I don't want to take your thunder, Teresa, but as a comprehensive person, she was looking at the language and made some recommendations. All right, there are commands. No, there are recommendations to do a few things, and including, you know, adding what's the muddiest point, tell us a little bit about yourself. And it all meant, to me, have fun, find out, do a thing. So I never really gave a lot of applause to Teresa in public, but I was grateful. I was reluctant in the beginning of the process, but I was really grateful that the work that she helped me do in an online, very rigorous, I think, class, rigorous for me. So my welcome message, all of them end with, let's have fun.
Yeah, I
Let's
love
have
that.
fun.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, thanks, Teresa. Yeah, Heather, yeah.
I think it's helpful because it helps me remember that the students are the audience. And I struggle with some of the wording of I guess, loaded policy descriptions. You know, students pick up on, you know, what kind of words do you use?
Yeah.
You know, who are you writing this for? Like, who are you actually talking to?
Yeah.
You know, and it's even little things like, do I say, you will have fun in this class, or we will have fun in this class, or students will learn a lot and have fun in this class. You know, like the choices we make, even in terms of pronouns and what we do, I think they all contribute to the tone, I guess. So the welcome message helps me remember that.
Yeah, 1000%. And great point. You know, going back to the part in the first page where I had said, you know, no appointment necessary, right? Before, I used to be like, here's my office hours, come at this time, right? That felt cold to me, whereas a little change, a little tone change now becomes, you're welcome here, come anytime, you're embraced. You don't have to, you're not forced to come, right? So yeah, picking up on those little details really makes a big difference. Moving on to the third point, and this kind of reflects some of the things Heather was saying. The notion of clarity is key. So simple syllabus helps us with a lot of the objective type stuff, but maybe you've noticed this as well. A lot of the questions that students ask you are things where you just are so tempted to be like, it's in the syllabus, read it, right? So I try to make those things front and center so I can reference that, but also I can help the students kind of be aware of it up front as well. So any little thing that I can clarify, and I'm like constantly revising this, I do. Any question that comes up in the semester, I put it in a notebook and I'm ready for it next semester, find a place to put it in the syllabus, right? So any little thing from like graded assignments and policies to not only here's the assignments you're gonna have, but here's the policy and here's the grade breakdown. Attendance policy, right? what does attendance mean for me, or what does participation mean for my class? That's super huge when I'm doing an online class, right? What's the expectation of participation? I spell that out for my students. Makeup policy, plagiarism policy, AI policy, right? Those things all are super clear. Even extra credit policy, and this guy, he's new here post-COVID, since online really boomed, at least for me. Time zone for assignment submissions. When I was in the thick of COVID, and maybe some of you have this experience as well, I was having students take my class from Italy, China, South Korea, London. Like, they somehow found my class, signed up for it, and they're taking English 101 in a completely different time zone. So if I'm saying 11:59 p.m. is the due date, well, 11:59 p.m. in Italy is actually 5 o'clock in the morning the next day, right? So they need to now know, here's the expectation. And I even include that in my in-person classes, just in case a student is like on spring break or out of town or whatever, and they want to turn something in. It's clear, okay? Never underestimate how clear you can be, because it only benefits the student. Even if you feel like you're being redundant, I feel like it benefits the student. So I ask you, what concepts and policies will you clarify in your syllabus? Maybe there's some things as I was talking, or you looking up on the screen, that you're like, oh, I didn't include that. I should totally include that. Do it. Why not? Right? My whole motto with the syllabus is why not? Yes, it's going to be super long, but it's only going to help the student in the long run. And again, thinking about equity, right? Our students are coming in with different needs and different backgrounds, right? So what you think may be redundant, that might be like a game changer for them, that they're like, oh, I had no idea. Now you know. And that helps set the expectation. So,
can I ask a quick question?
Please.
How do you assess clarity? How do you assess that it's clear to the student?
I basically put myself in the student's shoes and say, okay, if I was reading this, would I be confused? And there have been times where I was confused and I'm like, what the heck am I trying to say? Like, this student's totally gonna like hate me for writing this. So I revise it. And then I go back to it another day, look at it again with fresh eyes. And, you know, if I feel like it works, and sometimes it still doesn't work, and then I revise it again. I rely on the student experience, student feedback. If there's something they're constantly asking me, then I know, oh, I was not as clear as I thought I was, revise this. So
one of the things that I've done over the last 20 years is to have a syllabus quiz.
Okay.
It's, you know, on 1,000 points, I mean, 1,000-point course, it's 5 points, so it's like 0.5%.
Yeah.
But I have them do that within the first 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, several reasons. One, I want them to read the syllabus and answer some questions like what my phone number is, or, you know, what class it is, you know, all that stuff. But I also want to see if they can navigate, in this case now, our current learning platform, as opposed to what we had with Angel and Blackboard and years ago. But that tells me that they're able, if they can do a thing to get to the syllabus and answer that question, whether it's an on-campus class or online, that's telling me they should not have a reason they couldn't turn their homework in. They already know how to do this. They know how to get into Canvas now. But that helps me because I think to myself, like you, it wasn't that clear. I better tweak something.
yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else do a syllabus quiz? Just out of curiosity.
I do.
Okay.
And,
Cool.
yeah, I guess you can kind of tell if they keep missing the same question, then I'm like, I have it worded.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
You know, everybody should be getting all 10 points on syllabus.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I found that to be true. Like, I'm like, oh, that's the way I worded the question.
Yeah.
Or-
And yeah. And I see on the group chat here, someone also does a scavenger hunt with their syllabus. I love that idea as well. Yeah. Yeah.
I've even had a colleague read over, like I've done this more with assignments than the syllabus, but if I was revising an assignment or something, I'll hand it to the colleague and I'll be like, how would you complete this assignment?
Yeah.
Because they have a little bit of knowledge
Yeah.
that like the student should have by the time they get to that, but they're not, it's not me. I have trouble editing my own work because I sound clear to myself.
Right. Right.
That's all.
Right. Yeah, very cool. Thank you. Yeah, so people at home, people in the audience in person, they're just sharing some things they do, things like having a colleague read over the syllabus, or putting themselves in the role of the student, or even sending out syllabus quizzes to check understanding for things that they could be clearer with in their own syllabi. Cool. All right, let's keep rolling. So number 4, it takes a village. Okay. This is the part that I think Simple Syllabus has really helped streamline for us, right? That notion of share with your students as many on-campus resources as you can think of to help them be successful. Literally everything from tutoring center to where students can go to have their pronoun preference changed, right? Yes, Simple Syllabus does this for us, but I also take a moment to reinforce it by bringing in people like the library, or taking my students to the library, right? Or having Elizabeth Bell come in talking about the tutoring center. Just different ways to kind of bridge the gap and put a face to the name and show my students that this isn't just another thing that's getting kind of policy heavy with for you in my syllabus, but this is actually a real resource on campus that you should use, that's more than likely free. And once they kind of see that and see my passion for that and see my emphasis on it, they use it, they take advantage of it. And that pretty much, kind of like I'm saying on the bottom here, it shows our students all the ways our college supports them, encourages them to be more likely to use those resources. So just something that I wanted to kind of throw in there. Don't just rely on Simple Syllabus to put it in there for you. Look for ways to kind of bring that to life as well. So I'm always trying to bring my syllabus to life in the classroom. I don't do a quiz for my syllabus. I make things be, real life applicable. So I will have them come to my office at this day, at this time, then they know where my office is, or at least they'll ask about it, something like that. So what resources will you include in your syllabus? I'm going to skip that one because, like I said, Simple Syllabus kind of takes care of that for you. This is a really big one that I think makes all the difference. The notion of representation matters, okay? So at the end of my syllabus, I include the course schedule for the entire semester. Every reading, every lesson topic, every assignment due date is all listed day by day, week by week. Yes, it takes a lot of time to do. However, students love it. They are able to see when I highlight something in blue on the syllabus, that's a due date. Pay attention to this date. Or they're able to jump to something on the syllabus that says the nostalgia behind your favorite Chinese food. We're going to watch a TED Talk today. Oh, okay, I can maybe be represented in this. This represents my culture as a Chinese immigrant taking a class at JJC or whatever the case may be. Not only does this help students plan ahead and prevent procrastination, yay, right, win-win, but it also helps them see themselves represented throughout different points in the semester. So that TED Talk is a very popular one. Another one I include is the best career path isn't always a straight line. I actually just had a student who took my class last semester email me about that a couple weeks ago saying, after I watched that TED Talk in class last October, I went over to the ag department, asked questions there, grabbed a brochure. I'm now taking ag classes, and my family all wanted me to be a doctor, and now I'm changing it to go into ag sciences, right? All because that video inspired me that I don't have to have a straight line to get through my classes or whatever the case may be. So that one was validating to hear that response from the students. I also include things like The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, but I pair it with a song that's similar in theme, Road Less Traveled. It gives a female perspective, a more modern perspective on the same themes from Frost. We Wear the Mask. That one's big, especially during Black History Month with Paul Lawrence Dunbar. I do things like theme song essay, interview essays, things that engage the students, things that they can look forward to as they look ahead into the semester, and again, hopefully see themselves represented in some way, shape, or form.
Just really quick.
Jump in.
First of all, I love the representation and showing that on the syllabus and having that, on day one. That's great.
Yeah.
Earlier this semester, I thought to myself that I want to throw out this idea that I have that I think is a little heretical.
and that is that I think we should actually abolish due dates. Right? And I actually don't mean to sound like that, but what I mean is that I actually don't think that the due dates, I'm only going to talk about face-to-face courses.
Okay.
But for face-to-face courses, I don't think the due dates should be given on day one. And I have two big reasons why, okay? So one is that on day one, I have a guess as to when we're going to get to all those topics. But I don't actually know when the students are going to like have mastered projectile motion so that I can be sure that we can do an assessment on it and so on and so forth, right? And so I want flexibility, and I want there to be a dialogue in the class, like, hey, I think we're ready for this. We're going to have our assessment next week, or whatever, you know. Second, and this is like, I see this everywhere with my students. They come in during week one, and if I have due dates already plugged in, they're super excited. They love it. I know that's true, but these students have figured out, oh, I'll just go to the calendar and I'll click on the thing, and I don't need to look at all the rest of the stuff that's in the modules, right? Mm-hmm. Some of the students actually know that. Some of the students don't know that. And they're like, Professor Morrison, I can't find anything on in your Canvas page. Like, and I'm just like, everything is laid out in perfect organization in all the modules. Like, you just need to start looking through. Yeah. But they're looking for the date. Yeah. And so I want to fight back a little bit, or push back a little bit on the idea that all the dates need to be there from day one. Yeah, and I really value that perspective. People at home, Professor Morrison is bringing up the idea of potentially not including due dates, which I respect. I think maybe depending on the subject matter, you know, that can work more efficiently than others. I always just put myself in the perspective of, again, the student who's new to college, right? Who needs to build study habits, who needs to kind of have an expectation up front of, here's the class, here's what you can expect. We're going into an essays development, and it's going to take 3 weeks. And in those 3 weeks, we're going to be doing ABC objectives during that time. I found that students maybe who are new to English, ESL students coming into English 101 for the first time, transitional students, right, who don't have these study skills, these good habits, these college skills in place, it's one extra thing that can help them, right? And my philosophy is that if it even helps just one student, then it's a victory, right? So I don't know. That's just my thought there. So thank you. But I ask you, how will you help your students feel represented? In an English class, my English people, I know we have different ways of doing that, but folks who are outside of English, how would you do that? How would you help your students feel represented?
So going back to deadlines.
Or we can stay talking about deadlines, that's cool.
I'm not, it's answering your question,
Okay.
but it's about deadlines. So, so I had these, well, I work with my students to figure out, so typically my essay deadlines have been on Sunday nights, because I thought, oh, they need the weekend to get it done, blah, 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 whatever. And then students are like, yeah, but I work all weekend. Mm-hmm. How am I going to get this done at 11:59? I was like, oh, yeah, right. So in my brain, 11:59 on Monday makes no sense. I'm like, it's a Monday night. Who's going to remember, blah, blah, blah. But given students other time commitments, that is what works best for them. So that's what's answering your question. You know, I think they're more likely to adhere to those deadlines because they work best with their schedule.
Yeah, and that's kind of a benefit of community college, right? The students we get, they're non-traditional. They have lives, they have families, they're working jobs, right? So any little thing I can do to help, that's kind of where I'm coming from to do that. Yeah, Teresa.
Heather, to piggyback on Heather's, a couple years ago, I did that same thing. I moved even my in-person due dates to Monday night, 11:59, just because of the consistency. I mean, I used to have things due like on Tuesday and then on Monday, but same thing, I ran into the same thing. Some students work all week and they save the weekend to do their homework. Yep. Some students, they only work on the weekend. So I found that really helped everybody. Okay, it's always due on a Monday night. Yeah. You know, unless it's President's Day, it's Tuesday.
Absolutely, yeah. For sure, for sure. Good. And if you don't have a way that you're representing your students right now, that could be something to brainstorm, right? Something to think as you develop your own syllabus as well. So I guess I have like a whole maybe minute left. So we did a lot of like engaging and reflecting, and I really thank everyone for sharing their experiences. If anyone has any last second questions that they want to throw out there, please do. Otherwise, thank you for coming. Nice to meet you. Hope this helps. And here's the thing if you need to scan in.
What's our secret password?
PLUM.
Password is
PLUM.
PLUM.
Yes.
PLUM.
PLUM.
I sense it being.
I have a physical attendance sheet if you don't have a smartphone capable of QR reading here. as
Great.
well.
Thank you, everyone at home.
Nicely done. Welcome.